Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss the new party which Reform UK reject Ben Habib has announced to be an even more MAGA version of Reform UK. What will their strategy be? What can they actually hope to achieve? Also, will it be a credible threat to Farage, or will he see them just as a joke? Because right now they've got a lot of work to do before anyone even knows who they are. But first, for daily news and commentary, please hit the subscribe button to stay notified. So in amongst the political craziness at the moment, there were a couple of pieces of unwelcome news for Reform UK last week. The first is that former Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe says he's initiated legal action against Nigel Farage, Lee Anderson and Zia Youssef. The second is that former Reform UK Deputy Leader Ben Habib has endorsed a new party. It seems to be called the Integrity Party. Now, he doesn't seem to be fronting it. Apparently, there are two even more unknowns doing that. So I'm not clear about Habib's role in the party, other than endorsing it. But what I find interesting to begin with is there's no real news about it. You won't have seen it in the news. There's an article behind a GB News paywall. Nothing at all in the mainstream media. So are the media, who have given Farage free, uncritical publicity for many, many years, doing him another favour by just not reporting on this challenge to him, particularly during the election campaign? The fact that several days later, because this happened last week, there's no articles about it, except for from GB News and the MSN free-to-view version. That is quite interesting. The only other way you could possibly know about it is from Ben Habib's social media posts. There appears to be a website, has a website. It's full of the usual AI hallucinogenic weirdness that emotionally backwards characters like Darren Grimes have been pushing for the last year or so. The website doesn't seem to include a lot of information. Hilariously, it has a page dedicated to their manifesto. And there's a bit of blurb explaining the importance of a manifesto. It's like, okay, it's got this message saying it's a living document. Okay, we get that, right? Has no... Zero policies, not a single one. Frankly, they'd have been better hiding that part of the website until they actually had a manifesto. So in the here and now, this party presents zero challenge to Reform UK. Its website is, there's a big button for donating to them or joining them. But all you seem to get in return is to look at some pictures of an AI generated field where the flowers look like union flags. Doesn't have any big personalities fronting it. There's nothing about the people involved on their website. They're not getting any mentions in the news. Even Lawrence Fox's midlife crisis party gets mentioned in the news now and then. Oh, and just in case you think that the party is intended to be a serious, albeit even more extreme right-wing party, think again. Looking at their candidate rule, so it excludes people who've had past associations with various groups, including some extremist far-right parties like, Reform UK did the same thing. It's like English Defence League, Britain First. It's like, no, you can't come here. But it also includes other groups. They seem to have it in for hope, not hate. But also, you're not allowed to have been a member of the World Economic Forum. Right, okay. I'm not sure too many individual people are. And I don't think they need worry about that. Anyone who's got an interest in economics at that level is powerfully unlikely to want to join a group that is going to try to become like Reform UK, but with the brains removed. It has a Twitter account, got basically just over 7,000 followers, on a platform that is actively amplifying the far right. Their pinned tweet claims that there are other groups trying to impersonate them on various social media platforms. Now, given that they have absolutely no footprint to speak of in the mainstream media or social media, I seriously doubt anyone is trying to impersonate them. Maybe they're just trying to convince people that they're bigger than they are. We go, we've got people trying to impersonate us, we must be big. So on the face of it, this party is a vanity project for those who don't think Reform UK are extreme enough. But unless they get some major money behind them and know how to use it, they're not going to make a splash in any elections. Obviously, they're not gearing up to be ready right now. They'll be gearing up for the general election. But still, it's pretty clear the media are not interested in promoting them for free, like they did for Farage for so many years. Otherwise, there would have been mentions of this in the news. That being said, it sometimes only takes a bit of a push to get the ball rolling. If this party is to challenge Farage, there is a bandwagon they can hitch themselves to. Rupert Lowe has challenged Nigel Farage, Lee Anderson and Zia Yusuf to retract what he claims are false allegations against him. Now, if they don't, Lowe has said he will issue High Court proceedings. Now, obviously, none of those individuals could retract their statements without looking like, as Lowe alleges, they were making the accusations up to punish him for speaking out. Reform UK has the money to defend themselves in court, so they won't be able to claim they were just cowed by the threat of expensive litigation. And Lowe must know this. He is presumably just going through the usual legal motions, because you can't just take someone straight to court. You've got to give them the opportunity to deal with the situation amicably without court action. So unless Lowe is bluffing, and he has got the money to do this, this would suggest a case in the High Court, which the media will find impossible not to report on. And although all parties will keep quiet to the press, citing legal proceedings, there will be a lot of dirty laundry aired during the court case itself. Now, these things can take a long time, of course, but we have a long time before the next election. And it's the next general election that those arrayed against Farage will surely be targeting. I feel sure that the aim of this Integrity Party will be to do to Reform UK what Reform UK is doing to the Conservatives. Threaten some important voters in order to neuter them in the elections with the adoption of more extreme policies, the price for working together. It never works. I mean, we've had this on the left so many times. It actually never works. On the contrary, often achieves the opposite of that. You know, in order to attract more mainstream support, Reform UK have had to disown some groups which are a core part of their support, most notably Tommy Robinson supporters. But others have been denounced as well. I mean, I've said in the past, it's quite weird. We're watching the Conservative Party trying to become more extreme, but we've seen Reform UK try to become more moderate. You know, you've got a first past the post system. It doesn't take, you don't have to take very many votes away from a party to block them from winning. Though it will not be enough for this new party to simply get the money needed to field candidates for election. They are going to need the sort of top-down promotion in the media which has powered Reform UK to where they are now. Ben Habib endorsed the party last week with an inaudible whimper. You would have missed it. I'm surprised I caught hold of it. If he thought he was a big enough draw to get column inches in the papers, he was badly mistaken. So if they expected Ben Habib endorsing the party was the way to get some momentum going, that has backfired. So they're going to need a lot of money and to use it on some fairly clever publicity stunts. But if they do have any sort of plan, using the Lowe versus Reform UK legal action will surely be part of it. Like I say, none of the four individuals concerned, Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage, Yusuf, Lee Anderson, they won't be able to say very much to the press for fear of contempt of court or prejudice in the case. So that means there will be a void for commentary on this from those close to those individuals. Aha! That leads Ben Habib and anyone with, any sort of personality at all to fill that gap on commentary for the news. So that'll be their in. So if they succeed and build a name for themselves as an alternative to Farage, what can they hope to achieve? Well, obviously, they're not going to win any seats for a general election. Like, you can never rule out local elections because they can be decided by so few votes, but they will struggle even there. Reform UK, remember, before now, I mean, these local elections coming up, Reform UK will probably get a load of seats. Before now, they've hardly won any, really hardly won any. Reform UK, they're not trying to moderate themselves because Farage accidentally ate some tofu and now he's gone woke. It's entirely strategic. They're trying to increase the number of votes they can win. They're trying to appeal to voters who want to shake things up, but they don't want to vote for like extremist racists, right? So they're trying to moderate themselves strategically, which means they have to broaden their appeal. This Integrity Party seems to exist specifically to have a very narrow appeal. It will only appeal to those with very extreme authoritarian views. And even then, the ones who don't care about actually winning elections, because the pragmatic voters will still see that Reform UK are the ones most likely to win seats. Although the good news for the new kids on the block is that polling showed that a lot of Reform UK voters from last summer did not expect their candidate to win. So plenty of people out there who will happily register a protest vote. Then we have to consider what might happen in the next couple of years. Farage has gone a bit quiet on his support for Trump right now. But look at what Trump is capable of. If American legislators do not stop him, he could easily end up swinging very clearly to Russia's side in the war. in fact, it looks like that's where he's going. He may end up destroying American society in a way which does get noticed in Britain. Being a supporter of Trump may end up being deeply unpopular, causing even Farage to have to increasingly openly criticise Trump, as he has already begun to tentatively do. This wouldn't be a problem for the new party because they will be targeting those who will still support Trump's war on woke, no matter the consequences. In fact, it could even work to their advantage if Farage has to cut himself off from Trump, as he already has from Tommy Temnanes, and then also consider, like at the moment, you know, you're looking at polling going, oh, Reform UK, you know, they could actually win power, and people will hold their nose and vote Reform UK because, oh, we could actually win power here. Now, and in a couple of years' time, when Labour's policies start to filter through and more people see it, remember, it's quite tentative at the moment. It's really very tentative. Labour only need to win back a bit more support and they're straight back up there. There's loads of things coming online in the next 2 years. So I think as you get close to the general election, Reform UK will fall away. And at that point, they're no longer the pragmatic vote either. So another party could well capitalise here. But if they're going to capitalise and pose any threat to enough votes to hold Farage hostage at the next election, they're going to need to be fronted by people with a bit more personality than a potato. And they're going to need a lot of money behind them because they're not getting any free publicity. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can click the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later.